Hola, es Manuel Barrera. Miren, miembro de Southwest Democrats. Ya tengo 4 o 5 años. Este puede ser que va a ser mi último año porque, para decirle la verdad, se me hace que yo estoy un poco más en el medio que ellos, pero de todas maneras, yo soy el precinct chair del 425 y yo voy a votar por Sheila Jackson Lee. Yo tengo años de decir, no, lo voy a hacer en inglés. I have years of saying that the Houston Chronicle is like a whore because they sell their endorsements when there is selling to the persons that will bring the most money to the newspaper. I never doubted that they would endorse John Whitmire, but the Chronicle always thinks to lows that are unimaginable, and I have no idea why they do that. Give you an idea. That's the kind of standard I'm going to have. Some stupid other motherfucker did it, and I don't have the information. Nobody sent me the information. I need to ensure my schedule. And if Google did it, shit ass did it, fuckface did it, and nobody knows the goddamn thing in my office. There ain't nothing. I gave it to you. Your job was to get it on the calendar, put it in your brain, or send me the information back saying, Congresswoman, I made sure that the overnight intelligence that you gave me for so-and-so date at 7 is on the fucking calendar. Not you. From acting. The Chronicle published that yesterday. As far as I know, they're the only ones locally that did that. I checked with the 3 main TV stations. I don't open Fox. I refuse to look at anything Fox if I can avoid it. So the Chronicle did it. The other 3 TV stations, main TV stations, didn't do it. The Spanish TV stations, as far as I know, didn't do it. And so just the Chronicle. So what was the purpose of that recording? It was to drag Sheila Jackson Lee, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, through the mud. They themselves said it was unverified. Was it her? I don't know. But why are they putting that in the newspaper? What was their intent? Their intent was to drag her through the mud like they do to too many minorities. They do that to minorities mostly. Because today, the Chronicle endorsed John Whitmire. I never doubted they wouldn't do that. Think of all the money that Mattress Mac and what's that guy that owns Landry's restaurants and the casino. Think about how much money they have in advertisement for the newspaper. I tell people my goal in life, and I'm in my 70s, is to outlive certain people. I've already outlived 2 of them. Well, there's 2 more, and hopefully the Chronicle will also die and disappear before I pass away, because it needs to disappear. It is a disgrace to newspapers, and they should either quit endorsing and stick to news, real news, not made up stuff, not ruining people's reputation. That's not their job. But anyhow, I'm voting for Sheila. I intend to vote for Sheila. My gut feeling tells me that Sheila is doing much better than they anticipated. That's why they're going to use the Chronicle and maybe 1 or 2 others, because especially ABC 13. They'll do it almost as fast as the Chronicle. They get a lot of advertisement. Those advertisements say, "Hey, we need you to run this." They're going to run it. Uh, so it's going to happen. They don't want the candidate that they're supporting, which is John Whitmire, to do it. They don't want him to be dragging Sheila through the mud because he's going to have to work with the black community. And let me tell you, the black community politically is the most powerful voting bloc in the city of Houston. You can't take that away from them. They are the most united, powerful voting bloc in the city of Houston. And John Whitmire is going to have to work with them. Win or lose, especially if he wins for mayor, he's going to have to work with them. So how is he going to manage that if he's the one dragging Sheila Jackson through the mud? No, they're going to use the Chronicle, maybe one or two of the TV stations, but that's what they do. Now, for those of you that you call yourselves Democrats, and I'll name one. I'm disappointed I saw her face as one of the persons that's endorsing John Whitmire, Linda Morales. You know, I kind of understand why you're doing it. You're doing it because of the union that you work for, that you represent. It's about money. That's the same reason most Republicans vote the way they did or do. It's about money in their pockets. So remember that. What's the difference between you and a Republican? Only social issues, only because maybe they don't care as much about gay people. They don't really care, whether somebody gets an abortion or not, or they don't want people to get abortion. But other than that, it seems that everything comes down to money. So it's just a degree, kind of like that joke that I think it was Churchill that is credited with saying that he was at a party and he's talking to this very beautiful young woman, and he says, "If I give you $1 million, will you go and have sex with that man over there?" And he points to an old, ugly man, and the woman looks at him and goes, "No." He says, "What if I gave you $1 million and you go have sex with that young man over there?" And she looks at him and she says, "Yes, I think I will." Well, you know what? We know what she is. So what's the difference between some of you Democrats? John Whitmire, the Republicans are going with him for a reason. You may not know the reason. I may not know the reason. John Whitmire knows the reasons. The Republicans know the reasons. Did you know that there's only one Democrat that has a committee chair in the Texas Senate? One. That's John Whitmire. And they gave it to him after John Whitmire decided he was running for mayor. This is what Republicans wrote to Dan Patrick. Committee appointments position the Senate well to pass every Republican legislative priority this session. Texas GOP tweeted, "We are grateful for the Lieutenant Governor being responsive to the House, to the issue of dam shares, and reducing the numbers from 32% of committees to one during his tenure." Think about that. Why is John Whitmire the only one that has a committee? Why? In 2003, when they were doing the redistricting, one Senate Democrat decided to come back so that they could do the redistricting and screw the minorities. You know who that was? John Whitmire. So let me tell you who you're aligning yourself with. These are from comments in the Chronicle. Oh, if I had taken them from Channel 2, they're even worse. She's black, so it doesn't matter. They've been held down, Probably a bunch of racists did this to her. It's nothing to do with her being an arrogant, low IQ bitch. That's the type of people you're aligning yourself with. These are people that hate blacks. They hate gays. They hate us. Maybe not as much, but they definitely don't like us. But let me tell you, gays, transgender, blacks, they're up here, we're down here. So I'm not sure why some of you are aligning yourselves with them. I have no idea. It baffles me. If it's money, well, endorse them, but put your face out there. There's one guy that used to be the Harris County Democratic Precinct chair, Lane Lewis, I believe that's his name. They have a picture of him that's endorsing John Whitmire. Well, Lane Lewis is also on John Whitmire's payroll. Go look at his expense accounts. Lane Lewis is being paid. I'm just wondering how many others are also being paid to endorse. Now, I got this, and I'll be honest. My eyesight is it's not as good as it used to be. In fact, I just went and got an eye exam, and hopefully my these glasses will make it a little bit easier to read. But this is from a comment. It's a little long, but it's a very good comment that was in the Houston Chronicle. Sheila, in politics, we never have the perfect candidate, but that's okay because we're not perfect either. I've learned not to compare candidates to the almighty or to the alternative. I don't have to like Sheila. I vote for her, hire her to do a job. Listen to her critics. They don't talk about her being corrupt. Where is the story about her conflicts of interest? There are several on John Whitmire. I've never seen one. Where are there stories about her not delivering federal dollars to Houston? She has tens of millions of dollars. I've never seen one. Where are the stories about her abandoning her fellow Democrats to pave the way for Republicans to pass legislation that Democrat legislatures and, more importantly, Democrat voters oppose? John Whitmire did that when he broke and came back for the redistricting. Where are the stories about her not coming to the aid of Houstonians, whether they lived in her district or not? In fact, she helped my wife. She helped my wife quite a bit because her daughter was having trouble in getting her visa to come back here. And her or her staff went out of their way, and we don't live in her district, to help my wife. And my wife's daughter is now a citizen of the United States. I haven't seen one. Her critics talk about how she is always in front of a microphone. Her critics talk about her being too hard on her staff. Her critics talk about her attending Michael Jackson's funeral. I am concerned about whether she does the job. Does she do what she is hired to do? Yes, she does. Is she tough on her staff? Yes, she is. Those staff are at will. She could fire them. She could curse them out or she could fire them. I'm not sure which one they would have preferred. Most people would prefer to keep a job than rather to be fired. I know a Republican a council member, when I was chief of staff for Felix Fraga, come Christmas time, you know what he would do? He would fire almost all his staff. Think about it. Christmas, he would fire his staff. They had no idea it was coming. Just like that, they were gone. I know some of them that would have preferred to be cussed at rather than fired. Every politician tells you what they will do when you elect them. I want to focus on what they have done. Don't tell me you have a cure for crime. Now, when you've been in the state senate during the crime explosion and never implemented the things you promised to do if elected as mayor. Never. John Whitmire is all bull. There is nothing that he can do. I do know one thing. Between him and Gene Green, they controlled the north side and the east stand. Esos pinches chicanos que están ahí porque le fueron y le rogaron en rodillas a John Whitmire que los apoyaran y a Gene Green. Bueno, puede ser que unos o dos no, pero casi todos. So, do the right thing. If you're a Democrat, you vote for Sheila Jackson. because she is the only true Democrat running for mayor. We don't know what John Whitmire has promised, but don't be surprised what he may give away to the Republicans. After all, there's several Democrats that gave away HISD, and Harold Dutton is one of them. What will John Whitmire give away? Ciao.